When it comes to solving problems, we can make things really simple or really complicated. And one of the main things I want to do on my channel is to help make things simple for everybody and help you guys realize that we've been lied to about a lot of things. And the most important thing that we've been lied to about is that most of our problems are outside of our control and there's nothing we can do about it. Blame it on biology. It's due to an inappropriate signal. It's not what you do that affects what you got. It can't be your food that might determine whether or not you have an illness. I mean, you don't build your body out of your food. Why would your food be reflected in your body in any way? That's ridiculous. So this is one of the biggest lies we've been told. Is then we start looking at the details, at symptoms. It's all a sleight of hand. It's a magic act. It's to get us to focus on the wrong thing. That's how the people who rule the world work. They're psychopaths, they're con artists, they're masters of illusion, masters of misdirection. It's all a sleight of hand. It's one big con. Most of our problems are 100% within our control based on our lifestyle choices. And that's the main purpose of my channel, is to help people weed through all the confusion. Because who can you believe? Believe yourself. Test an idea as time has come. And you can prove to yourself that everything I've been saying on my channel is true about having a serpent that's within us, in effect, when our intestines are nothing but a slow, stagnant cesspool instead of a fast-moving sewage system. We end up having a bunch of filth that we carry around. It's like a baggage of shit, literally, that we carry around that affects us. And then we're also deficient in a nutrient that feeds one of our senses. Biophotons, I talk about this all the time. So when you do a solid food vacation for the appropriate length of time, the two main things you're going to do is get rid of that waste matter that's inside your whole body, especially the colon and your lymph fluid, and then you're going to bump up those biophotons. That's going to change our mentality. It's going to help us understand that that's the only thing that's important to do. If we're not doing that, everything else is a distraction. Everything. No matter what it is, it's going to be a distraction. Now, as long as we're doing that, then it changes everything, doesn't it? Of course it does. But then, what do we do with our time? Well, once you realize that this is part of what's called the hero's journey, once you realize that you are the only one who can solve a problem that's self-inflicted, you want to tell everybody else about that. That's the only thing you need to do. You don't need to be going out there and trying to disprove or prove theories that have no consequence on anything, like the flat earth, for example. Major distraction that's all designed to get us to fight amongst ourselves and do anything but focus on what we got to do. And that is to flush out the serpent, bump up our biophotons. Stop committing the fall of mankind on an ongoing basis that creates the hell that we have here now. I've mentioned before in another video, what is the meaning in life? There's only one meaning in life, and that is to stop the suffering on this planet. Everything else is a distraction. Period. Case closed. Now, remember, we're damaged. Society's damaged. The environment's damaged. There's a lot of downstream work we have to do. So if we want to make things simple, we always go upstream first and get reconnected. And then when we go downstream, we prioritize and look at the things that we need to correct immediately that are used to control us. We don't want to focus on anything that has no consequence, that doesn't even cause a problem. So let me make this real simple. I created a tool that explains all this, where there's 3 stages of knowledge. Where knowledge is acquired in the first stage, applied in the second, manifested in the third. Thoughts, actions, reactions. Beliefs, causes, effects. Belief system, lifestyle choices, feedback system. The things we think in the first stage of knowledge, the things we do or have done to us in the second stage of knowledge, and the things we get in the third stage of knowledge. Now, we have to make sure we're all on the same page if we're going to talk about the solution to solve problems. We got to know what we're talking about when we talk about a problem. So I identified 2 pieces in that third stage of knowledge on the wrong path as piece 103 and 104. 103 would be all those problems that are self-inflicted that we create. 104 are things that are outside of control, like accidents and acts of nature, where we have no control whatsoever. And then there are limited control over acts of war, crime, and violence. but those are not 100% within our control, so I put those in 104. So what we want to do, if we want to keep things simple, remember it's either simple or complicated. It's simple when we only focus on problems that are 100% within our control, and then go to the ones where we have limited control. Realizing that when we solve those problems that are 100% within our control, then we drastically reduce, if not totally eliminate, all those other problems that are where we have limited control. We get distracted when we focus on a problem that's outside our control. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. We're in denial. We're arguing over things that are outside our control. Flat earth, round earth, outside our control, and that's assuming it's a problem. It's not even a problem. So it's a distraction. That's why I say over and over and over, if we're not getting reconnected, if we're not trying to reach the tipping point, we're all suffering needlessly, and that's a distraction if we allow that to go on and focus any energy. I checked out some of you guys that used to come to my channel, and I see you guys doing videos on flat earth. What the hell are you doing videos on flat earth for? It's a waste of time. It's a distraction. It's interesting, and you know, everything we do is, like I said, going to the movies, distraction, reading a book, distraction, unless you're learning how to get healthy. And the whole point is here, we have something really important going on. This is an important time in our life right now to realize that we've got to reach the tipping point. The trim tabs have got to step up. If you're politically active in any way and you care about the environment, you know that there are things controlling us. Don't go off into a rabbit hole and look at things that don't make any difference. That's why I say it's a distraction. And it's outside our control. So we make things either real simple or we make things real complicated. We focus on things that are within our control and limited control. But we don't focus on things that are outside our control. Again, we've been lied to. We've been told that most of our problems like heart disease and cancer and diabetes is outside our control, and that's a lie. We create those ourselves. And then we're lied to again saying, look, the climate's all about what we're doing to the environment. We're polluted, we know that, but now let's blame it on carbon dioxide. Another distraction designed to keep us poor, because now they can tax everybody who breathes air. Don't you see how we're being used? The Hegelian problem reaction solution. Now, if you look at all of my videos, and I've done a bunch in the last 7 months or so, you'll notice I don't get very many thumbs down, except when I come after controversial subjects that have an agenda behind it. There are people wanting to keep us distracted on anything but it's what's important. We got to correct the fall of mankind. If you make it simple, you get reconnected. If you want to make it complicated, then you get distracted. Everything's a distraction. So again, it's not complicated once you realize that there is a first cause that starts everything in motion. And it's talked about by every culture on this planet. They've referred to a time when we had a golden age. But now man has this form of evil about himself that's unlike any other creature on this planet. We did something that created that. We've got the wrong mentality as a consequence. And if we're not changing our mentality, we're being distracted. Flat earth, distraction. Carbon taxes, distraction. Used to control us. Flat earth, distraction. Divide and conquer. Get us to fight and argue about something that has no significance, no meaning. Even if it was a problem, it's outside of control. Oh, but John, it proves that we're special, and it proves that God exists. I've already talked about this before. We used to believe the earth was flat, and they believed in gods back then too. We still had the problems. We're being distracted. It doesn't solve anything. Once we get reconnected, once we deal with how we've been damaged, then we can have time and be distracted any way we want to. But for now, it's a waste of time. So there's too much out there for you guys to be doing besides researching stuff that can't be proved one way or the other. Keep it in mind that when we look at something like the shape of the globe, it takes a lot of knowledge and intellect to be able to understand this subject. Not everybody has the intellect to be able to figure that out. And then you got to have a lot of knowledge to do that. So if you've got a lot of time on your hands and you're already on the hero's journey, you're doing everything else, fine, then go ahead and do that. That's fine. I'm not saying don't do that or don't believe in it. But to put any energy into it when you should be putting energy into something that can actually make a difference, that's the point. Because we can make a difference. It takes people like you right now that are listening to this to keep doing what you're doing on the hero's journey. Remember, you got to go out and gather data. Now, do we want to gather data about the earth being flat or round? If you want to do that, fine, go ahead. But don't let it consume too much of your time when you don't know enough about other things that are more important. So, it's time to get excited, my friends. It's time for you guys to test an idea. This time has come. And what I've done is I put together a playlist for a solid food vacation. So I'm going to be including that in the links down below. When you go down into the description box, look for my solid food vacation playlist. Well, I'll have a seminar on there on how to do this with other related videos. And when you guys finally do this, you're in for a treat.